Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning here at the NTEA Work Truck Show, their 20th anniversary as well.
That's
which I think
right.
is really
That's
kind of
right.
cool.
Forgot about that.
We've got our Love Hey Mike right down here, but we are competing with currently Stevie Nicks a little bit, singing something about being 17. I don't know, some famous song, right?
There you go.
Impressions after our first day together here yesterday.
You know, the biggest impression is how many relationships we've built over the years. We always preach relationship, 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 but this is it. Everywhere we were walking, somebody grabs Will or myself and said, "Hey," and we don't just shake hands, we hug.
Yeah.
And it was endless. It was from start to finish. We almost couldn't get out of the place.
It was. I mentioned on social media last night that I think there was like an hour and a half where we might have moved like 10 feet. But we had like 15 conversations in that time.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing.
People.
Oh, at one booth alone, I think it was the Isuzu.
The Isuzu booth, yeah.
Yeah, we got cornered like 6 times.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and we always preach the importance of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that supersedes all else. You have to. I compare it to football. Will, you've got to do the basics. You've got to block and tackle. In this case, you've got to stay in touch. You got to do what you say you're going to do. But it's the uniqueness of a lot of head coaches throughout history, from Newt Rockne right on up, was that head coach's ability to gain respect, but also to touch their athletes in a deep, meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's Bear Bryant, whoever it is. You know, when you look at Nick Saban, who arguably right now is probably the best college coach in the nation, maybe in history, and when you see the videotapes of him in practice, he's involved in the drills.
Yes.
He's walking around. He's pushing people. Sometimes he's, gets on them in a hard way, but he still pats them on the back. He's a head coach who is a very good leader at the same time. And so when I look at this industry, I look at the linchpin that holds it together is a commercial manager.
Mm-hmm.
And that commercial manager that has that ability to inspire, to push, to get the best out of people is, I think, maybe one of the most important things. I look at one person in particular, Andy Burns at McGrath. Andy inspires his people, but he still pushes them in a positive way. So interesting. So I kind of relate a lot of what's going on here to the foundations, the blocking and tackling, building the relationship, staying in touch, but then going the extra mile. And you know the saying.
Yep. The road to the extra mile is never crowded.
And so we always want to be on that road.
That's right.
So
how fitting, too. We're talking about relationships. I don't know if you know the song, but this is Leonard Skinner. I don't know if you guys can hear it with the mic being the way it is, but it's kind of strange. 2 guys from Jacksonville shooting a video in Indianapolis listening to Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
So tell me about
originated out of Jacksonville.
Yes. And, of course, he knows real stories behind that, too, but that's for another day.
Before they were actually Leonard Skinner, they played at my high school prom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's dating.
Long time ago, right?
We won't talk about that.
Tell us about your presentation with Ford of Canada on Tuesday.
It went extremely well. I think it was sort of surprising because after the presentation, a couple guys came up to me and said, "Ken, that was so great," because so often in Canada, we don't totally understand that concept of outside sales, of going to the customer, of building those relationships. And we showed them about 5 or 6 very simple, easy ways. And when people come up and say, "Wow, that was a great idea, I never thought about that," you know you had a good message.
Mm-hmm.
And it was well received. David Shuttleworth, outstanding guy. I have to give him a shout out, who really organized all that. Person who got me in, Al McDonald, who used to be with Ford of America, one of the top guys, great supporter and a great friend. So, wait a minute. Relationships?
You mentioned relationships. Every time I've looked at this screen, except for now, because we're shooting kind of in selfie mode, there's been an email rolling through on your phone.
Yes.
So if you haven't actually seen the screen, the email keeps dropping down, which is very typical, but you're very right.
It does. So, Will, I want to say something very important. Will has taken on a major project. He's going to be doing the digital marketing course for Isuzu this year, which I'm so excited about. They had approached me and said, what about a course like that? And I said, well, I got your guy. And, right away, I wanted Will to be the lead guy on that because he's so much better at it than I am and knows so much more. So you want to talk a little bit about that course?
Yeah, we're calling it hashtag Smart Connections. And actually, I have a conference call at noon today. It'll probably be before we actually release this video that we're going over next steps for that. And I think, sorry if I get this wrong, Suzu guys, but I think we're close to sold out
Wow.
for 20 seminars throughout the country.
Oh, geez.
I think it is.
Jeez.
All the way from starting in mid-April in Orlando. Those emails are going nuts. Look at that. All the way through September. Most of them are in April and May, but we got some backup dates here and there. And really, the whole premise of it is the tagline is maximizing your digital presence.
Yeah.
And we've noticed, to an extent, we are outside the system. And we notice things that go on within the system that people are missing opportunities for some really basic stuff.
Amazing.
That can make huge differences. And again, it all goes back to like what you said, relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, simple basics of tagging the right people and making sure that, our big thing is focusing on the relationships and content over the likes and views. And I can't tell you how many services, how many different entities, I'm being vague here on purpose, focus on that latter part of the likes and views.
Yeah.
We're all about relationships and content and everything that we do because that's the difference maker in this industry. We know that, we see that, and that's what we're trying to promote through this course.
And I can give a prime example on that, and that is the mayor of Rochester.
Great example, yeah.
We're going to talk about a good friend of ours, Dale Covington, in Rochester, Minnesota. Dale is in my age category. Dale, that's a plus, not a minus. And Dale has embraced social media. I mean, he's constantly posting. He's at events. He's promoting his clients. He has done an outstanding job of doing that over time. So it's been real positive.
Mm-hmm. Dale is, boy, you want to talk about being active. I actually called him, I think, last week. And we made a little joke about it, and he had left me a voicemail prior to that, and I called him back, and I said, "Okay, Dale, I will be your campaign manager for your next election." And he laughed, and he said, "I'm actually meeting with the mayor like 2 days from then."
Oh my gosh!
Just go figure. But if you follow Dale, and he actually does a lot of it on his personal page because he's that kind of guy. He obviously shares to the Clements commercial page as well.
Right.
But Dale's really an open book, and he is really about those relationships. And part of his little shtick, if you will, is that he actually doesn't even live in Rochester. So he values those relationships even more because he actually has to drive to go see those people on a daily basis. He lives in about a suburb, maybe a half hour, 40 minutes away. So he really values that time that he's there. And he's a great person to follow to kind of get an idea of, hey, what should you be doing? Dale is doing this.
And that's why this digital marketing course is so important. We're so amazed at the opportunities that exist now in the digital world. But as Will said, the key, though, still is making digital as personal as you can.
Yeah.
And building those relationships. One of the things that we do, and Will does a fabulous job of it, is after every boot camp, we get a testimonial from every single person. Now we're actually having people who have gone to YouTube and to look for us, and they found all those testimonials and it sold our boot camp.
At least one or two people every single event said, I came because I saw either testimonials or Coach's Corner, and just started rolling through that playlist. So even though, again, that kind of goes back to it, even though those view numbers aren't huge, every single one of those is a quality viewer.
Yeah.
And I'll take 25 views on a video with a relationship on every single one of them than 2,500, and we know 10 people that saw it.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, it's the key. It's the quality. And again, it goes right back. I think, again, we keep circling back to that word relationship. The power of the relationship determines the power of your success in business. So don't just look at a new client as another prospect who you converted to a customer. Look at him as a friend.
Yeah.
And what can you do? It's so funny. one of the things that I've started doing a few months back was I go through my phone and I've highlighted people that I haven't talked to in a while, and I just wanted to say hi to. And it's amazing what's happening. People say, well, gosh, we'd like to use your services again. Or, things are just ticking simply because I called to say hello.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. Saw a name, had a trigger, called them, and,
By the way, if you've never gone to the National Truck Equipment Association, man, well, talk a little bit about this convention.
This is the second time I've been here. Came in 2018, and we did a few filming things then. You got to come more than once, I think, because when you come the first time, you're just, even if you're not overwhelmed by the size of it, you don't really understand how to move within it. To see all the people that you want to see, or if you're coming for the product side, seeing all the products that you want to see, and really immersing yourself in it. So I think a multiple day setup for people maybe that are dealers that would come in, the morning of one day and then leave the evening of the next day, which is what I'm doing. Obviously, you were here an extra day. You have to do that. The amount of little fingers throughout the industry here, and all these little ideas that people have, and all these little booths that just focus on springs or just focus on the batteries for electrification, which is a huge focus of this particular one. All those little industries, you can learn so much that maybe you find a niche that you become that person that can really handle that stuff in your area, in your state, in your region, in your country. You don't know what the possibilities are, but you might be able to find the one that works for you. And then you add the relationships on top of that, and going and meeting with people like, we haven't even done it yet. We haven't been to see our friends at Napide or Commercial Truck Trader or Ally yet. We've been stopped by so many people.
Still got
have gone to Work Truck Solutions. Obviously, we've gone to the OEMs, but I mean, using and meeting with your resources and finding out how you can be a little bit better, how you can, help them do their jobs better. That's where this is really that place to do that and get all of those appointments done, if you will, in a short time frame and really enhance those relationships.
Oh, absolutely. And a quick shout out to all your Ford dealers who might be listening to that. If you're not taking Ford Pros magazine, you should be. You can certainly call us. We'll talk about it. We'll be actually meeting with them shortly.
Yeah, as soon as we're done here, we'll go in there.
Yep. So, please, get on that magazine. I do a regular article, which is usually 2 pages. It's pretty extensive. But please get on that. If you're serious about this business, you want to be on that mag. You want to subscribe. It's absolutely free. Call us. We'll kind of tell you what to do and how to get a hold of the Ford people. Jesse Allred, Carla, all the people there, just so wonderful to work with and wonderful to deal with. So get on that magazine. It's a game changer. It truly is. Will, any final words?
I'll put it this way. We were hoping to do a video last night, and we were hoping to do video throughout the day yesterday, and we got so busy with talking through people that we got relationships with that we ended up, I don't even think we whipped out the mic once.
We didn't.
Because we were so busy.
Every time we turned around, somebody's grabbing an arm and giving you a...
Right. So now part of that is how well connected this guy is, but the other part of that is just how many people there are here and how many conversations take place. So that's just another feather in the cap of the value of coming here.
It is. Hey, appreciate all of you out there. We value your relationship. Call us if you need something, or go to the website, www.commercialtrucktraining.com. We have a lot of free information, Will, that we can get to them. And contact us if you need us to come. We actually come into your dealership, and we do something that no one does. We make sales calls with your salespeople. So if you're a dealer principal and you're looking to really ignite them and get them on the road, that's what we do. And we help organize your entire department. We help maximize it. We help connect all the dots to service, to parts, finance, everybody who can work together to create the ultimate success. And we always look to one particular dealership, McGrath Auto in Cedar Rapids, as a shining example. Those guys did everything we asked them to do. They have a great leader in Pat McGrath and Gavin McGrath and Murphy, and their commercial manager, Andy Burns, one of the best of the best. So shout out to our friends Tyler and Billy. They're here at the show. We ran into them at the Ford store. Tyler Jensen, who kind of started it all. I owe you, Tyler. And of course, our friends Jeff Melcher and Jeremy. Jeremy is awesome. He's at our.
You got to get Anthony in there too.
And Anthony, that's right. Anthony, I didn't mean to
There's so many you need to have. And Trenda, there. Now we got them all.
Now Trenda actually.
Trenda's a godsend for me.
Trenda actually holds the whole thing together, so I give her a incredible amount of credit. She's awesome. Everybody needs a Trenda to keep all the guys in line. I think we should give her the title Sergeant.
You know, we're gonna keep rolling this here. I think we need to either get her on a podcast or maybe on a video about the value of that position.
Done. Trenda, if you're hearing
we did it with Haley, who Trenda, well,
yeah,
the second replacement for Haley.
Yeah, Trenda, if you're listening, get ready. We're gonna make you famous.
Yeah. So.
Guys, thanks so much. If you're at the truck show, you're probably going to see this later. But to all of our customers and everyone in the industry, again, you just can't thank enough people. People like, Joe Brooks. People like Ed Pieper,
Rob Peruzzi,
Mike Kennedy. Michael Kennedy, and it goes on and on and on. That make this such a wonderful industry. So bless all of you, and hopefully we'll see you here at the show.
Thank you, guys. Well, hello, everybody. We are in an airport, Indianapolis International Airport, and we are through with the 2020 NTEA Work Truck Show.
Yeah, it was, well, here's the biggest takeaway that really is for everybody, not just us. And the biggest takeaway is the power of relationships. We talked about this earlier. We could not go 5 steps without somebody stopping us. Hey, wait a minute, you guys got time to talk. Good to see you. From California to Connecticut. Yeah. It really didn't matter. It was everywhere. And it takes me back to a book I read called The Tipping Point by our favorite writer, Malcolm Gladwell. And he talked about working at something, and then suddenly it seems to just take off. You would think it would be gradual, step by step by step, but it's flat, and then boom. And that's kind of where we are in the business.
That's kind of how 2020's been, yeah.
Yeah. And every commercial salesperson and every dealership should take note of that, because we bring a new person in that we know has promise, making the sales calls, doing the right things, learning the product, learning the process, learning about sales, and they struggle. The big mistake most dealerships make is 90 days, they want to get rid of the person because they don't see enough progress.
Yeah.
Where in reality, they're measuring the wrong things.
Right.
They're measuring units sold, which are going to be very few, and they should be measuring amount of activity.
Right. Quality activity.
Yeah, quality activity and the results of that quality activity. So, example, a low quality activity is cold calling. So they're out, God, they made 10 calls today. Well, how come they're not selling anything? But yet, what if they had made 2 appointments with true decision makers, built that relationship up, come back a second time and a third time, and finally that business owner says, this guy's for real, or this gal's for real, and I'm going to give them an opportunity. But that happens very, very slowly. I kind of like to use an example to AJ Hewitson, who was there today. We didn't get a chance to talk.
Yeah, we didn't get to say hi to AJ. We saw him 3 or 4 times, but yeah.
Here's what I love about AJ. He came from really selling smartphones.
Yeah, cell phones.
And he got into the truck business, no background in it, but, he hit the right people. He kept at it. He kept making sales calls until literally the guy became a superstar. And now he's one of the best commercial managers we deal with, and knows the business. But it takes time, and the dealerships don't allow for that time in many cases.
Yeah. I think, I think the other thing that stuck out today, or even over the last 2 days, was where we stayed at the hotel. How we just kind of ran into people that we're going to, which is, that's a common theme here. But must have coronavirus or something. Right. One of the guys that we had breakfast this morning with, was working on the autonomous or the electric vehicles,
Right.
the batteries and
Right.
everything that's associated with that. I know we talked about the video earlier, but it kind of speaks to of just like you do all the time, of just starting the conversation.
Right.
And in this case, he did. But I mean, this guy could be a podcast guest down the road for us, or
definitely could be.
be a big connection down the road for anybody watching this, because that stuff is coming.
Yes.
So, and then the day before, we rode on an Uber with a guy that did something we actually didn't get to talk to him after that. They had something about springs, a new type of spring. It's just like the little things that you can play with, and you might find something that you're really interested in, or it makes a lot of sense to you that you can use down the road.
Yes.
As you are being that guy then when it comes to, or that girl when it comes to that particular little part of this business. And you never know when that's going to come from, and you can find a lot of that stuff here.
Oh, exactly. And it always starts with basic questions. Hey, so how long have you been driving?
Right.
Are you from, what did I ask? Are you from the area?
It was as simple as, are you guys going to the show too?
Yeah.
In both cases.
Yeah, and in one case, he was from India.
Yeah, that one too. That's right.
We started talking with him, and it's just engaging people, showing an active interest in people. And as you do, they take an active interest in you.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people always when we're going out on a sales call, they go, well, what are we going to do today? What are we going to accomplish? I said, well, number one, we're going to have fun. Let's enjoy what we're doing, or what's it worth. Number two, we're going to listen. We're going to ask questions and listen. We're not going to talk about our dealership. We call it show up and throw up. We're going to listen to what their issues are and what's their problem. And in reality, what's their favorite subject anyway?
Yeah, what's in it for me?
Yeah, what's in it for me? Our favorite radio station, WIIFM. That's what they want to talk about. They want to know that you have an interest in them. They don't want to know what you had to sell until you take an interest in them first.
Right. Well, it's really cool, too, when you do it that way. You tend to find a mutual benefit in having met each other and what you bring to the table really quickly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't take any more than what do you do. And, oh, hey, I need a vehicle. I mean, how many times have you run into a situation like that? Or, hey, I need a plumber. I've been looking for one. I blew something out of my house last night. Any of those situations, if you just start asking questions, it's amazing how quickly that happens.
It really is. So it was a great 3 days.
Yeah, for you.
I mean, we ran into current clients, past clients, renewed some relationships.
Yes.
Rick with Truck Smart wants us to come back in and work with his guys.
Seen a lot of newsletter clients. That was great.
Oh,
Justin
a ton
Neal,
of
Matthews Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very successful, more than worth it to be here. And so if you haven't been to the NTEA and you're in this business, you definitely need to come.
Absolutely.
It's an incredible experience.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
It's fun.